The impact of the Enlightenment. Our goal is to identify the major ideas of the Enlightenment from the writings of Locke, Voltaire, and Rousseau and their relationship to politics and society. Enlightenment thinkers challenged the divine right of kings and argued for liberty and rights. Salons, or discussion parties, high literacy rates, and cheap printing helped spread new ideas across Europe. These theories inspired a variety of new ideas in art, music, gender, or how women were treated, economics, and government. Over a span of a few decades, Enlightenment writers challenged long-held ideas about society. They examined such principles as the divine right of monarchs, the union of church and state, and the existence of unequal social classes. They held these beliefs up to the light of reason and found them in need of reform. The philosophers mainly lived in the world of ideas. They formed and popularized new theories. Although they encouraged reform, they were not active revolutionaries. However, their theories eventually inspired the American and French revolutions and other revolutionary movements in the 1800s. Enlightenment thinking produced three other long-term effects that helped shape Western civilization. Enlightenment ideals of perfection and reason gave rise to neoclassical art. Art in the Enlightenment was simple, elegant, and focused on Greek styles. The Enlightenment ideals of order and reason were reflected in the arts, music, literature, painting, and architecture. Neoclassical styles emerged. European art of the 1600s and early 1700s had been dominated by the style called Baroque, which was characterized by a grand, ornate design. Baroque styles could be seen in elaborate palaces such as Versailles and in numerous paintings. Under the influence of the Enlightenment, styles began to change. Artists and architects worked in a simple and elegant style that borrowed ideas and themes from classical Greece and Rome. The artistic style of the late 1700s is therefore called neoclassical, meaning new classical. Music styles also changed to reflect Enlightenment ideals. The music scene in Europe had been dominated by such composers as Johann Sebastian Bach of Germany and Georg Friedrich Handel of England. These artists wrote dramatic organ and choral music. During the Enlightenment, a new, lighter, and more elegant style of music, known as classical, emerged. Three composers in Vienna, Austria, rank among the greatest figures of the classical period in music. They were Franz Joseph Haydn, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and Ludwig van Beethoven. Franz Joseph Haydn created the first symphony. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart set a new standard for originality. Beethoven used emotion and range to move music beyond the classical style. One of the most important Enlightenment ideas was the theory of capitalism and laissez-faire economics by Scottish professor Adam Smith. The term laissez-faire refers to the economic policy of letting owners of industry and economics set working conditions without interference. This policy favors a free market unregulated by the government. The term is French for let do, and by extension, let people do as they please. Capitalism is an economic model based on private ownership of property and desire to make profits. Laissez-faire is the idea that the economy thrives when the government does not interfere with businesses and allows a free market to exist. According to Adam Smith, price is determined by supply and demand. According to Smith, economic liberty guaranteed economic progress. As a result, government should not interfere. Smith's arguments rested on what he called the three natural laws of economics: the law of self-interest, people work for their own good; the law of competition, competition forces people to make a better product; and the law of supply and demand, enough goods would be produced at the lowest possible price to meet the demand in market economy. Capitalism is an economic system in which the factors of production are privately owned and money is invested in business ventures to make a profit. Situation number 1. The economy has taken a turn for the worse. The president believes the government should get the economy moving again. He wants to pass laws that require individuals and businesses to follow the government's advice about what should be produced. What would Adam Smith say? Why? Smith would be on the side of relying on the market to improve the economy. He definitely would prefer the invisible hand of the market to the visible boot of the government. He would be afraid that government would favor some interests over others. Situation number 2. To save our jobs, coalition is working to pass a law that would penalize businesses that move jobs overseas. In addition, the law would require higher taxes to be placed on imported goods that are cheaper than those goods made in the USA. What would Adam Smith say? Why? Smith would favor free trade. He said the freer and more general the competition, the better off the public will be. Trade restrictions help certain groups at the expense of the general good. Smith was against mercantilism, just as the American colonies were. Smith supported the American position in his writings. Situation number 3. Stop Government Now is a group that believes there is no legitimate role for government except providing for police and fire protection. Members believe almost all governmental functions should be privatized and run by businesses. What would Adam Smith say? Why? Smith believed the government should provide more than police and fire protection. He supported public works and education. Most importantly, government should provide justice, without which there would be chaos. However, he would be shocked by the size of government today. During the Enlightenment, people throughout Europe and America began to study, read, and philosophize about the new ideas. To collect these new ideas and make them accessible, Denis Diderot created the first encyclopedia. Encyclopedia included essays and sketches on a wide variety of political, scientific, and cultural ideas. Encyclopedia spread the ideas of the Enlightenment and scientific revolution. Impact of women on the Enlightenment. Most Europeans had a traditional view of women as housewives, mothers, and not equals to men. But new Enlightenment ideas inspired efforts to improve women's status. Madame Zofran hosted salons and spoke her mind. Some women, like Mary Wollstonecraft, argued for more opportunities for education and professions for women. Enlightenment philosophers attacked absolute kings like Louis XIV and Peter the Great. Most philosophers believed that the best form of government was a limited monarchy that respected citizens' rights. Some powerful monarchs, known as enlightened despots, listened to new ideas and tried to improve their citizens' lives. Enlightened despots favored religious tolerance, tax reform, reduced government spending, and legal rights. Frederick the Great of Prussia granted religious freedom, abolished torture, and improved education. Catherine the Great frequently wrote to Voltaire and considered protecting the rights of her citizens. Joseph II of Austria granted freedom of speech, press, religion, and required peasants to be paid for their work. As the Enlightenment spread, citizens began questioning the authority of their kings. Philosophers such as Voltaire considered England's government the most progressive in Europe. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 had given England a constitutional monarchy. In essence, this meant that various laws limited the power of the English king. Despite the view of the philosophers, however, a growing number of England's colonists in North America accused England of tyrannical rule. Emboldened by Enlightenment ideas, they would attempt to overthrow what was then the mightiest power on earth and create their own nation. As a result, revolutionary wars broke out in America, France, and Latin America for independence and liberty.